Welcome to the Macros for Life podcast, your go-to show for macro education, business growth strategies for nutrition and fitness entrepreneurs, and real talk on marriage. Whether we're chopping it up with industry leaders or amongst ourselves, we'll be bringing you insider tips on nutrition, fitness, marketing, back-end business systems, money, and more. All right, grab your notepads and let's get it. Here are your hosts, scientist, macro expert, and hormone specialist Eve Guzman, alongside financial strategist Randall Guzman.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Macros for Life podcast. Today we're breaking down a line that I have said 1,000 times, and that line is macros aren't just numbers. And that's because they're way more than that. But if you're still coaching macros like they live in a calculator, you're really missing the whole picture. And this is why we have 2 certifications at the Macro University. We have our first certification, which is macro mentorship. That is our macro nutrition coaching certification. And then our next level after that is our functional nutrition coaching certification. So macros aren't math. It's really metabolism. They're hormones, it's communication, it's what the body is saying to us and processing those numbers. And when you start coaching from that perspective, everything as a coach starts to change. So let's start with what most coaches learn first, right? We're taught macros as a formula, calories in, calories out. If you are eating more than you need, that is a surplus. If you are not eating as much as you need, that is a deficit. If you're right where you're at, that's maintenance. And then taking those calories and transforming them into protein, carbs, and fats, those are going to be the macros, and hoping that your clients hit their targets, they're going to see results. This is a way to keep things tidy. It is a way to keep things super trackable, but it's also incomplete because it's not everything. And that's because what happens when your client is hitting their macros and their body isn't responding? Something else is happening. What happens when the numbers are right, but their energy, mood, and cycle are off? This is where most coaches panic, but this is also where the real coaching begins. And this, for me, is where it really starts to get fun. So macros are not just math. It's metabolism, it's hormones, it's feedback, it's biofeedback. They're your client's physiology trying to talk to you. So that is your client's body trying to communicate with you. And so every macro adjustment you make is a signal to the body. Eat more carbs, you're influencing thyroid conversion and serotonin. Cut calories too low, cortisol can spike. That means we might also have some glucose spiking, and then recovering, sleep, being more resilient, all that stuff tanks. Undereat protein, muscle retention drops, satiety drops, metabolism slows, creation of hormone also can slow. And for me personally, I am more hungry, I'm hungrier, and I also have lower energy. But again, making these changes in the macros, their communication. The body is always talking, but most coaches aren't listening because they are only looking at the calories of the protein, carbs, fats, and the numbers of the protein, carbs, and fats, and they're looking at the numbers of weight. As the calories are being hit, is their weight going up and down? Coaches are not listening to the other stuff. And so the context of your client's progress always matters. The context of the macros, of their weight, everything matters. You can't coach macros in a vacuum. You have to coach them in a real body and have context around them. It's not going to be a perfect science experiment in a nice little tidy box, because your client's numbers don't exist outside their life. Menstrual phase, whatever menstrual phase they're in, their stress, their sleep, their recovery, digestion, just the emotional load of things they're going through. All of these factors change how the same set of macros are going to land. So macros in one season are going to be different than another. The same 1,800 calories is going to feel completely different during ovulation than during time of PMS. And if you haven't coached women, you're going to find this out. The same deficit will feel doable when sleep is solid and impossible when cortisol and stress is probably high. Most of you guys could probably agree with that. If you ignore the context, you're not coaching metabolism. You're basically just micromanaging the math. So the shift that separates good coaches from great ones are the ones that are shifting from numbers to physiology. This is exactly why we created FNC, the Functional Nutrition Coaching Certification. It is the next level for macro coaches. Good coaches know how to track numbers, but great coaches know how to interpret what the body is doing and is listening for the signals that are being emitted from the body. They ask things like, why is this set of macros not working right now? Why do these calories not work? What feedback is the body giving me? Are you asking about bowel movements? Are you asking about energy? Do you know that their weight is up this week and it's the week of their period? Does your tracker or check-in sheet have a line for their menstrual cycle? If not, pause this podcast and go and add that in. What is changing for them at that time, hormonally, energetically, even emotionally? That's where you move from macro coach to more of a functional coach. And that's how you stop guessing and start understanding a little bit more. So if you're interested and seeing this play out, and outside of this short podcast, this podcast is probably going to be maybe 10 minutes or so. Outside of this podcast, if you are interested in a training that is going to build this bigger picture a little bit more from you, I have a workshop that you guys can watch the replay of. It's called Mastering Client Transformations. So it's going to talk about the science. It's going to connect it to real coaching application. It's going to talk about deficits and maintenance and surpluses, and how these things can build your business in an incredible way where your clients are so excited that they're referring you to other people. This is something you're definitely going to watch, because it will talk about the systematic way that I go through periodization, and it really crowds out all of the other noise, and it has a little bit of an intro of physiology. But I want you to learn how to bridge science with strategy, because that's when your clients start seeing consistent, sustainable results. So here's your reminder. Macros aren't just numbers, they're also communication. When you can learn to read that language, you stop being a calculator and you can start being a really damn good coach. So if you want to see how this actually works and you want to grab the replay of Mastering Client Transformations, I'm going to leave a link to it down in the show notes. I don't know when you'll find this podcast. Hopefully it'll still be available. Make sure you get comfy, have some notes to take, pen and pad and paper to take some notes, because it's going to be really, really good. If it disappears, just message me about it at Eve Guzman Official on Instagram, and I'll get this recording over to you. I'm actually reposting it for a limited time for people to check it out, because it is the most requested workshop for me to do live. So we've created it as a replay training so that you can sit down at the comfort of your home anytime you want and learn a lot about this stuff. So just remember, macros aren't just numbers, they're communication. I want you guys to go from good coaches to great coaches. If you need anything, let me know. Share this podcast with someone who would benefit from it. If you are a person that is not a coach and you still want to watch the training to learn more about periodization, do it, watch it. But thank you for all your support. Make sure you give us an awesome review, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye.
Thanks for listening to our podcast today. Make sure you like, share, and tag us on Instagram. Also, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future episodes. In the meantime, be healthy and get wealthy.